Good afternoon, everyone. Shalom.
We do not accept the Nicene Creed.
In 1832, as some missionaries returned from their fields of labor, the Lord reproved them for treating the Book of Mormon lightly. As a result of that attitude, he said, their minds had been darkened. Not only had treating the sacred book lightly brought a loss of light to themselves, it had also brought the whole church under condemnation, even all the children of Zion. And then the Lord said, and they shall remain under this condemnation until they repent and remember the new covenant, even the Book of Mormon.
In the coming day, Jesus Christ will return to the earth as the Millennial Messiah, or the second coming. Do you see what is happening right before our eyes? Second coming of the Lord. Jesus Christ will govern from Old Jerusalem.
Travis went good song. doing a change of my theme. 9 years ago, and now 9,000 videos in total. Hundreds of thousands have come and gone, and the majority have rejected my message. They don't believe it. My target audience are the Jews in Utah, phonetically the same. Mormons do not believe we're Jewish, or supposed to be Jewish. September 22nd and 23rd, 1832. Section 84 was given by Joseph Smith. He condemns the missionaries for preaching another gospel, for lying to people about his church and lying about the Book of Mormon, and says that the missionaries have been putting the church under condemnation, that they need to listen to him and preach the Book of Mormon, not lie about it. September 22nd, 23rd, 1832. President Ezra Taft Benson, I wrote down to remember to put the clip in. Went over it with you. That's what he means by the church is still under condemnation. Which means that the missionaries are still going around the world and lying to investigators and nevermos about the church and about the Book of Mormon. Lying. But you sent them out as little kids now. They don't know anything about Mormonism. So obviously they're not going to be able to tell the truth about what they don't even know. Even after you've scripted it for us. We're still lying? Strange. He does not talk about the other instances where Joseph is pissed with the missionaries for lying. Section 86, December 6th, 1832. A few months later. Now he's calling the missionaries who are lying about his church, lying about the Book of Mormon, as apostates. You are apostates for preaching another religion, another gospel, another doctrine with the Book of Mormon. The Book of Mormon is to be interpreted one and only one way, and the missionaries are lying about it, as members of the church are joining in droves and are not believing correctly. So this time Joseph Smith likens that unto sowing tares among the wheat. Then in 1838, Mormons still are not getting it. And so during the summertime of 1838, Joseph Smith records, owing to the many reports which have been put in circulation by evil disposed and designing persons in relation to the rise and progress of the Church of Latter-day Saints, all of which have been designed by the authors thereof to militate against its character as a church and its progress in the world. I have been induced to write these visions. Ooh, context. The missionaries are now being called evil disposed and designing militants. They are a secret combination within Joseph's church to sabotage it. So it's a step beyond apostates. It's a step beyond tares. It's a full-on coup. In the summertime of 1838. Joseph published this in 1842 in the Nauvoo Times and Seasons as the Church of the Latter-day Saints, as Nephi in the second vision. So the first vision, what is the religion? Well, he tells us what it's not, and it's very clear what it's not. Verse 19. I was answered that I must not join Christianity. For Christianity is all wrong. And the Jewish Christ, who addressed me, said that all their creeds, including the first one, the Nicene Creed, from 325 CE, that created Christianity, created Jesus as the Christ, turned all documents called scriptures into literal histories. And then these Christians, then using the first creed as their guide, selected which scriptures are to be approved of for their Bible, with an Old and a New Testament, because it's now literal history. They can put it in chronological order. And they made mistranslations, they made misinterpretations, and they changed definitions. Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Got high activity out in my area today. 5:30 in the morning. Had quite a busy year. Had the explosion at the gas station. They still don't know what caused it. They're still rebuilding. We've had the apartment, abandoned apartment, catch on fire because of meth dealers having a meth lab. Shut off street for 2 days in a row. And then there was the guy trying to run away from the cops and ran into a gas pump at the other gas station. And then don't even get me started on Red failing with the homeless. And the traffickers who are not getting stopped by the police. Sent an email to Red the other day. Hey, remember that fentanyl thing you guys put on ABC4 News? Yeah. I've been telling you where they're getting the trafficking transferred from. And sure enough, the week before, so yeah, the 47,000 pills, yeah, that was just the one vehicle that had that transferred to them at that location. There were others. They got through. And don't even get me started on the world's terrorist organization with their headquarters right there at downtown Salt Lake City. Because have you not caught on yet? Christianity, all wrong, all abominable, and that those professors of Christianity as true are corrupt, all corrupt, because of what they did to the Jews. Joseph Smith tells you the missionaries are lying about his church and lying about the Book of Mormon, putting the whole church under condemnation. And in 1838, still, and they're militating. It went from going around lying to now they're organizing themselves as a secret combination. And what is it that they're lying about? Claiming Joseph Smith and the Book of Mormon are Christian, not Jewish. That Mormons are Jews, and in the latter days they'll be held in bondage by the great and abominable Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Utah. This is called the gift of prophecy, of a real prophet. It is Christians who deny the gifts. And what do you know? That's next. A Methodist preacher. Hey, Brigham was a Methodist preacher. It's all of the devil, those Jews. There's no such things as visions or revelations in these days. They all ceased with the apostles, who didn't have visions or revelations. It was the prophets of the Old Testament about Jesus in the Roman period time now, because they turned it all literal history. It's all about the Jewish Christ of the latter days, as Joseph Smith then goes on with the second vision to tell you about. and says that he's here to save Mormons from the great and abominable Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Lying about Joseph Smith, lying about the Book of Mormon as a militant secret combination, worshiping the devil. The inverted pentagram of Lucifer, the doctrine of Lucifer to take away agency. And missionaries still to this day go over these with investigators and lie. Joseph Smith, boys and girls. You turn vision into a literal history event so that it's no longer a prophecy exposing Brigham Young's Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. As Joseph is using the Jewish practice of telling stories that are prophecies predicting the future with calendar dates and clock times. And so you miss 2 sets, 4 times, 22nd of September. When the church was put under condemnation. After Brigham Young and Heber C. Kimball joined the church. And had massive missionaries converted going around. They called themselves the Danites. They called it the Order of the Danites. It's from Hebrew, means judges. They call themselves the judges. And they physically put to rights what they claim is not right to cleanse Joseph Smith's church. We call this a white supremacist Christian nationalist organization, a hate group, a terrorist group. And so, sure enough, in 1838, they struck. And they did as a similitude of what they plotted to do 200 years later. Election fraud. Your Honor, sign this affidavit that you found 3,000 votes. Civil war called the Mormon War. All hell broke loose in Missouri. They had been collecting Danites to Adamondiaman, their secret headquarters, trying to get them to settle in Adamondiaman. They weren't able to incorporate it as a township. But Thomas B. Marsh, as the president of the Quorum of the 12 Apostles, who assigns the missionaries to go to the established townships in the United States of America to establish a church. And then return and report. He then records it. We have a church in Harmony, north of Pittsburgh. Well done, thou good and faithful servants. Go to what is no longer called Harmony in Susquehanna County to establish a church. Yes, sir. That was how it was done. Then Joseph Smith was notified of where the church was getting established so that he could then appoint the leadership in the church. And every church with a bishop, with a high council, are supposed to have a storehouse for the poor in the community. And yet, Thomas B. Marsh was unaware of Adam-on-Diamond. He didn't know about it. He found out in real time after the Danites struck. And they didn't even tell him about it. They came to him and said, "We're at war, we're under attack. We're victims. Join us or die." He was taken to Gallatin to see what they did. The town was just regular people, families trying to survive and grow the township. They had the stores, their businesses, their families, their homes. The Danites came in, murdered, burned, stole, and took the loot to Adam-on-Diamond at the storehouse. Bishop's storehouse at Diamond. He didn't even know the name of it. So thank goodness for Mormon apologists at the church office building who went and changed the Wikipedia page after I talked about this. It's the nickname that they used. Oops. No. 40 years later, the Danites then wrote their version of history. And said Thomas B. Marsh was taken to Adam-on-Diamond, to Gallatin. That Joseph Smith had been working back in July on the first and second visions with Sidney Rigdon. The reason why we know it's 40 years later is because they continued on papers that were faded ink. So in Joseph Smith's vision, you see, and they know because they tell us it's Willard Richards who wrote in Jesus Christ. Nephi, or Moroni. Willard Richards, under Brigham Young, of the Danites, lying about the church as Christian. These Danites, all of this that we practice in this church or have, and they've since dropped, but the memory still remains, were practiced by these Danites. Duh. Their descendants are now running the state of Utah, running the church. Martin Harris defected to the Danites, and his sister would produce Dallin Harris Oaks. They are planning an Armageddon coup for the latter days, using the biblical dates to coordinate their attack, to prepare for 200 years to destroy mankind with an extermination order. Or as Joseph Smith says, adding to Malachi, in the second vision, they that come shall burn them, and frame and blame Jesus for it. Oaks then got leaked. Remember? 9 years, 9,000 videos. I did videos for 2020 telling you it's happened, it's now, it's on. And Oaks got leaked, but I didn't know about it until last November. So 2020, 2021 came and went. The church tried to murder me. I'm now here. And I'm still standing. But now I know what happened. It was a test run by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints to cause Armageddon as the Danites, their 200-year-old plot to exterminate mankind, to steal, loot, destroy governments. And Oaks is now the president, when it's not supposed to be a test run. 200 years in the making, and they are still failing. It's a good thing they put "no man knows the day or the hour." That was for failure as a backup. Because they used the day and hour given by the Jewish authors. And for the most part, at the beginning at least, everything happened. 2020? Yeah. Anybody ever read the Exodus story? Creeping death? I knew what was going on. The Jews interviewed by the news knew what was going on. And so you don't make the connection with October 7th and this year, under Trump 2.0, the second coming. All the world turned against Israel. Anybody ever read Revelation chapter 16? The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints set it all up. Oaks confessed. The Danites confessed and wrote it in a journal. Section 115, Section 116, Section 117, Section 118, Section 119, Section 132, and I believe it's 124 and 128 with baptisms for the dead. All Danite forgeries. I've been telling you, I've got Brigham Young's little black book of sealings, where he frames and blames Joseph. Joseph never practiced polygamy. Brigham Young's little black book sealed all the wives that the church says was during Joseph's lifetime. In January 1846, in the undedicated Nauvoo temple. Hey, with all the pretty stars wrapped around it. It symbolizes the second coming of Jesus from outer space. It was beyond face-palming when I saw a Mormon apologist making that claim. I lost it. Talk about mental retardation. I mean, awesomeness now. It's now been changed to awesome. It's been changed a lot over the decades since I was a little boy, when it was called mental retardation still. You're mentally retarded. No, you are. No, you are. I know you are, but what am I? Thank God for the 80s and homophobia. That's retarded. No, it's gay now. You boomer. Gag me with a spoon. Totally tubular, man. Dude from Death Valley days. It has not been a wonderful life. Where are you, Clarence? Show yourself. So yeah, the way to perfection, that's why I'm here. I found the book. They sent me a death threat. If you don't want me to know the information, you should have never said it. You should have never recorded it. You should have shut your mouth, Oakes. You have no one but yourself to blame. You're going around doing conferences, telling everybody we're a fraud. And you don't think that there are going to be those of us who are going to be literate to catch it? Seriously? That we're not going to have questions? That we're not going to go, wait a minute, a rock and a hat? We're now changing it to golden because they're lighter? That Joseph Smith is wrong and we need to correct him? That there are documents that we do not approve of Joseph Smith as our founder? Brigham Young didn't approve of them? What? And you don't catch it, huh? Adam on Diamond is the latter-day coup plot. Oh, dear God. And only 141 storehouses for the 31,667 congregations. And so the church deceives Mormons with church news about how, yeah, we gave millions to this corporate charity. They're nonprofit. And yet, it means something different legally than what we, the people, believe it's supposed to mean. A nonprofit can make profit and not pay taxes. The people who run them, that's their lifestyle. That's their business. They need people to give them money in order to stay in business, in order to claim to be a charity. And so every Christmas, here they come. I need my lifestyle taken care of. Trump's economy is very hard. We're still having the eggs of great price. And nobody catches it. All of this financial criminal operations. And the Americans. Oleg goes back to Russia, gets put to work for the KGB to root out the corruption in the grocery stores. He's now the grocery store monitor. But yeah, they finally caught the female who's the criminal mastermind behind it all. And she comes out and tells them, locking me up will not stop it. All of Russia does it. That is the economy of Russia. Bribery, corruption, extortion. Every Russian is raised up in that economy. Every Russian is raised up to be used against others. That's why they've got all those cute little honey pots. I don't understand why you guys didn't like the little girl, the baby. She's so cute. I put her as my screen. Turned on my computer this morning after the nuke picture that I told you about yesterday. She's the reason why we need to save mankind. You really want to be a part of this extermination? You really want to die for Jesus? Go do it somewhere else. Go do it on Kolob. Leave us humans alone. And yet, nobody liked that video. Armageddon slaughter of the innocent 18-year-old babies going on missions. So cute. Oh. She would be constantly disturbed by me. I would be with her 24/7. She'd never get any sleep. She'd be my best friend. So cute. Oh. And nobody liked it. Despite how cute she is, everybody ran away and hid. They knew the topic. They knew the church had lowered the age for girls to go on missions. And yet here Travis is using trigger words. Oh, you're just getting trigger words to get popular. Yeah, I'm so popular. You never check my channel, do you? Hundreds of thousands of you rejected me. I can't repeat every information about this church in every video. That's why I have 9,000 videos. And yeah, it sucks that those who do find a video and not want to learn more are starting here in the final minutes of the latter days, which are over. They're over. It's done. I check next year. Just in case, maybe there's still something left. It's done. It is done. The signs in the heavens are over with. There is nothing left. The latter days are over. So for them to keep on going means they failed. The enemy failed. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints plotting all of this for 200 years, and they failed. And we're going into extra overtime. Now, apparently, the Dodgers will still win. But I'm deeply concerned. is a lunar eclipse, a total lunar eclipse on the 3rd of March next year over Jerusalem, the old world. The moon refers to religion, an eclipse refers to fall. That is what these Christians are leading people to believe. That Jerusalem is what's going to be destroyed with Armageddon. Not the Jews in Utah. And yes, it's Purim of the Jews. But nope, it is not in Virgo. It's at the feet of Leo the lion. The Utah constellation. This concerns me because I know the enemy. That the Danites do not intend to destroy themselves, but there is a backup contingency just in case. But I can't count it as the parable of the 10 virgins, calendar date and clock time, because I already got it. I already know it. It ended. It's over. Joseph Smith in section 45, verse 56, that I have in that picture for you. You're supposed to go to that passage so that I don't have to put every information in every picture meme. You're supposed to study it. You're supposed to see that Joseph Smith said at that day when the parable of the 10 virgins is fulfilled. He gave you the calendar date and clock time for it. And I gave it to you. It's over. So the Purim for the Jews. This is the next potential target. Because the enemy keeps failing. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, plotting for 200 years, keeps failing. So, what is the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints doing? So cute. That's why I'm all about little girls, baby girls, young women, fashion plates, and yet here I am all alone. My family ripped from me by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Claiming they are trying to help activate me. So what is the church doing to plan for their Zion? Do you not understand why I do these news videos for you to go over the scriptures and then talk about what happened in the news the night before? You're not making the connection, huh? Why I go over church news? Why I go over the words of the living prophets of Jesus who deny the powers and the gifts? You're not making the connection yet? If you're still listening, you most likely do. Hey guys. Only the church office building people for the Strengthening Church Members Committee are forced to listen. And return and report to the corporate board. What are they plotting? Again, you don't know your scriptures? I'm still talking as if it's regular Mormons who need to be put in their place. So yeah, the forced ones to return and report. But we already know that we all know we know we know. The church just pretends I don't exist, even though they failed to erase me back in 2008. I know what they're plotting. They leaked it. They just can't shut up and keep their mouth quiet about their coup plot. Section 119, hello? Everybody got distracted with priestcraft. There's more to it. There's a lot more long list of crimes in this. It's just 7 verses. And a whole long list of crimes. And this is what they got shut down for in 1887. Nonetheless, they're still doing it. Because they framed and blamed Joseph for it. Because the government's not smart enough to investigate, to say, wait a minute, Section 42 was given out by Joseph Smith earlier. It's confirming Section 120. But you're claiming Section 120 was written just shortly after Section 119. July. When Joseph Smith was doing the visionary accounts. And yet, I don't see Quorum of the 12 here, guys. I see High Council. It's very clear you've changed things. Nonetheless, try to warn my government of the threat of the church. They don't listen. Try to warn Putin of the threat of the church. Oh, Putin. Nobody is as good as you are, I guess. Try to warn Xi. Try to warn Kim Jong-un, Little Rocket Man. Try to warn Mohammed bin Salman and Islam. And I can only assume that they think that they are so much more powerful than the church, that if the church dares to go against them, that they will crush us like the grapes of wrath. Are you sure? because you seem to be their puppets. You're doing exactly what they want you to do. They even created Russia because that was part of their 200-year-old plot. The Book of Mormon tells us that the Danites were going to be involved in the creation of the country named Russia, with your seal of the Scottish Rites. They created you. That's why your whole country is corrupt. Like Oleg has to crack down on the grocery store problem. I do like the show. It is very disturbing what you do to your people, Russia. And so, yeah, I staying. Very brilliant song. All about Russia and Reagan. Mr. Khrushchev says he will bury you. I don't subscribe to that point of view. Believe me when I say I hope the Russians love their children too. You have cute babies too. Why would you destroy them by raising them up as evil? Why, Mormons, would you allow this church to raise your children up to be evil? Zion takes away agency. You have to pay tithing. It's a servitude thing, slavery. If you do not obey, you're out. And so in the news locally, it has now been exposed of what the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints has been running test runs in preparation for. 2008, I was disappeared in a black site location here in Utah to be tortured unto death. I was never supposed to see the light of day. I was literally erased. I got out. And so, they then set up to have me move to West Valley for them to spy on me. It was not a Valley Behavioral Health, as they changed the name to, even though they owned the building. It was not exclusive to patients of Valley Behavioral Health. But that's why they moved me there. When I received the compensation for the damages caused in 2008, $22,000, I went looking around for a place to live. That caused them a panic fear. And after missing by 1 minute the apartment, a Hispanic couple had beat me to it because of the rules of how to pay. I don't know how many people know the process of getting an apartment. But you first have to find it, that there's one available. Then you got to contact them, and you got to get a tour. And then you have to have a specific, it's a specific check. I can never remember the name of it. And be the first one to put down the down payment, all that stuff. And so, not knowing the process, I got the walkthrough, and then I was told, yeah, get that specific check and meet at our headquarters, and it's yours. And I went, oh crap, gotta get that specific check. So I had to do a travel through UTA Transit to try to get it, and I couldn't get there in time, so it was available for me the next day. I go first thing to get it, and then take transit all the way to their headquarters, and I get into the doors, and there was the couple getting the apartment. Good for them, I guess. Hopefully. But I was out. So I went back to my apartment that was spying on me. Because I'm a big, bad, mean terrorist for filing a petition for a redress of grievances against the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints for not leaving me alone. Physically putting me to rights what they deemed as not right. Now in retrospect, and so they panicked. And so the woman working there to help people get placed into housing said, "We have a place out in West Valley for you." Okay. I am not mentally retarded. I do not have a mental diagnosis of any kind. No tardive dyskinesia. Right, Oaks? I was freed from my probation of what? Being denied due process? Sent to a black site for 6 years? Bleep you! The judge telling me I'm on probation. Bleep you! There is no compensation equivalent to restore the damage the church caused me. I even found them paying those who put me in the black site. I got the receipt. So, I moved to West Valley. So I'm trying to restore my life. Trying to restore yet again the Paleo-Hebrew research. And after 2017, they went, oh crap, Travis is at it again. Gotta shut him up. They destroyed my life again. Full-on blitzkrieg. Trying to murder me. Because it's a Valley Behavioral Health owned apartment, but it's for those who are low income. At least it was. I would then request my medical records, and they had forged medical records to claim I was one of their patients. And when I had called them out on it before I requested my medical records, yeah, they then forged records saying that I'm no longer their patient. I've got the documents. I know the doctor's name who forged medical records on my medical records. They tried to get me to be a mental patient. Because in 2018, Optum took over to pay the various groups of psychologists. And it changed to where they had to show the hours with patients in order to get paid by the hour. That is an evil practice, because it now turns human beings into chattel. And that's why they tried to turn me into a patient, so that they can claim that when they're trying to spy on me, that they can claim it as time with a patient. They're forging their client list to get paid for it. I mean, this is a very dark, evil practice in the state of Utah that's going on. And I can go on with further details. And so they were then trying to illegally change the status of the building to only have clients. I was the disturber because I'm not a client. And with 2020 suing the church ordered them. Kill them. Exterminate them. Kick them out to the curb. Yes, sir? Okay. I still have her signed, dated death threat and exposing her criminal operation as the property manager. Samantha. I know the names. I know who did what. And I know the chain back to the church. And so yes, 2021, the church then launders money through Gail Miller's concentration camp of hell of human trafficking of the homeless in preparation for the year extension before I would be kicked out to the streets. Illegally, criminally kicked out. So I found the book, and the church said, "Oh, hell no." And I got the death threat at the bus stop. Missionaries. Metro security was stalking me at my bus stop. to get my regular checks of compensation for what they did to me in 2008. They turned the bus driver against me. They tried to murder me. I knew what the church was up to. And here I am, still standing. I learned their enemy plot through my own research. And those of you who have been following just for a few months know that I found the Danite document just recently and made the pretty pictures and kept showing it to you. I had already done the research to make the connection. That's how I deciphered Paleo-Hebrew. That's how I'm the foremost expert on the ancient Middle East. The church will never leave me alone. And so yes, in Gail Miller's concentration camp of hell of human trafficking, they tried to murder me. They kept threatening me to get out and get a job. And get my own place to live. And yet, sabotaged me to be stuck there, to be tortured, to try to murder me. All plotted by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints through Gail Miller. They did not like me. I did nothing to them. And then I got this place. And then they sicked my brother on me. Oh, you should have done your research. You guys really suck at your job, don't you? Just like the Russian agents under Putin. You guys really suck at your jobs. I'm noticing a pattern. And so, yes, they backed off, so to speak. And yet, with Trump, yep, I see it coming. I knew that they would be up to something, trying to now prepare something else for me in the condition that I'm in. And here it comes. I see it coming. And it should scare everyone. It went national. And everybody else is horrified that Utah is doing this. Nobody else in the world does this. It is dark and evil what Utah is up to prepare for Mormon Zion. I warned you it's coming. So a part of it is that new homeless concentration camp of hell of human trafficking. Yeah, they're stepping it up beyond Gail Miller. And they got exposed yesterday in the news. It is to indefinitely incarcerate with, let me get the wording correct, involuntarily, indefinitely incarcerate the homeless. So that when the police go around and take the homeless off the streets, you will never see them ever again. It is a prison camp. I told you, they treat the homeless as criminals, druggies, and mentally retarded. They're all the same in their eyes. Operation Rio Grande, they're just going to lock you all up. So here they are again. They are now building a homeless jail. Homelessness is now a crime in the state of Utah. That complex is a jail to involuntarily, permanently lock up the homeless to never be heard of or seen again. No resources. Not just the talk of being resources. As I did the reporting live from inside, there are no resources for the poor. They won't give it to them. They don't want them pulled out of poverty. They have to pull themselves up by their own bootstraps, and they're sabotaged not to. And now it's far worse. Upwards of 5,000 homeless in Utah. And there's a lot of teens who got kicked out of home. How could Utah be so cold-hearted and inhumane? Oh, right, they're the Danites. This is going to be Zion. And so the place they're looking for to build it, they're going to have to keep expanding. Because you can't just get rid of the 4,000, which it's not enough for the 4,000, by the way. It's already too small. Because when Armageddon hits, there's going to be far more than 4,000 in Utah. But Section 119, get out. And if they can't get you out, they're locking you up. This is my warning this whole time. This is what I knew it meant on the 4th of November 2016 by Fox 13 News Utah, announcing the total solar eclipse over the United States of America on the 21st of August 2017. This is why I changed my theme, to warn you of this day. And the majority of hundreds of thousands rejected me. And it's even worse than I thought. I knew I was disturbed by Utah joining the Department of Health with Department of Human Services together as one, claiming it would help people get resources. yeah. The fruits are 4,000 plus, going on 5,000 homeless. The fruits of uniting the Department of Health and the Department of Human Services together. Yay! Awesome! But I found out in the news yesterday, because of a psychologist who is tampering with the courts, saying that this Menzies guy is now incompetent again. You can't kill him. He needs our help. Remember how they get paid again? To do the evaluation by the court, they work for the government already. It was a person from Health and Human Services combined. It's full psychology. There's nothing medical about it. Because the poor are considered homeless, druggies, criminals, and mentally retarded. So Menzies, as a criminal, he's all of it. So he doesn't need to see a medical doctor. He's not allowed to be executed for his crimes. He's mentally retarded. Only we can help him as a psychologist. So also in Utah news, medical doctors found that there's no such thing as dementia. It's all a psychological lie. That those who have dementia should never go to a psychologist. They need to go to a medical doctor. Specifically, an ear doctor. All they need is a hearing aid. Problem solved. Amazing. They aren't hearing little voices in their head. They can't hear. And so it's all mumbled. And just like music, where we make our own lyrics to the lyrics because we can't understand it. I wish I knew what that song was. I keep forgetting. It was back in the 70s. One of the guys was just wasted out of his gourd on a live performance giving his song. And he just, the second stanza, whatever it's called, just nobody knows what he's saying. One of the greatest songs in history. And he was so wasted, nobody understood the second line. And I got the tune, but it doesn't help me find the lyrics to know the song. The weakness of YouTube. And now with AI, it's even worse. I can't find songs anymore on YouTube. I have to go to other sources to try to figure it out, and then take that and see if I can find it on YouTube. AI just sucks. You know, I type in the exact line from the song that I hear from the Americans or other shows, and YouTube recommends other options. I didn't type that. Why are you recommending this? That has nothing to do with my song that I'm looking for. And so then I find it online, eventually. And then I go, oh, yeah, now YouTube shows it, because I put the name of the band and the name of the exact song title. YouTube search sucks now with AI. So, some other things that have been going on in the news. I love it when a plan comes together and I was right the whole time and nobody believed me. I just love it so much. Remember? See if you remember who gave this quote. And a major city yet to be determined in Russia. And the crowd goes wild. Yeah, Nelson, his solemn assembly, and he says, yeah, we're working with the Russians to overthrow the world. We're using them as puppets to do our bidding. Yeah. Well, I now found out the offshore bank account that the Australian press exposed he had used for that operation. Where is that temple? Oh, it's still delayed? But Zelensky has until Thanksgiving to approve it or die. Okay. Yeah, Kyrgyzstan. The Russians used that for money laundering and gang transactions for terrorism. And yep, there's Nelson in 2003. Uh-huh. And then his wife comes out in 2018 talking to the little kids. I spent the time with the sisters in Russia. I asked them, which tribe of Israel are you from? And all of them were represented. Really, 2013, you were there in Russia, and Nelson was in the man's meetings. Uh-huh. Oh, Crimea. Huh. Uh-huh. And so now, Kyrgyzstan. An offshore bank account for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Now, whether it's for tithing, the trillions in tithing, or for others, they won't tell us. The new second counselor for the presiding bishopric now knows. Welcome to the evil organization Spectre. The counselors in the presiding bishopric get the $1 million bonus like the apostles do? Since they know everything financially? Since you need to keep them loyal? Do they get $1 million bonus? You know, you couldn't trust that whistleblower, Nielsen, from Ensign Peak Advisors, could you? God. So, yeah. So I've told you this before, but just to remind you, just in case you're still listening, Trump is calling Venezuela a terrorist group. The reason why he's doing that so that he can bypass declaring war to Congress, to have them declare war as an act that he then signs into law. We've learned this in American history. Declare war on drugs and terrorism, and Congress can't do anything about it. Commander-in-Chief stepping forward to save America. So what did Trump do? Oh, those Venezuelan drug cartels. And now designating them as terrorists, as he's got the biggest aircraft carrier in our fleet down there for a land invasion of Venezuela. All of it not needing Congress approval, because it's not a war against a country, it's a war against drug dealers and terrorists. Afghanistan 2.0. Iraq 2.0. Actually 3.0. Yep. Oh yeah, Dubai. There's another thing I found out about Bednar and Dubai. The Qumran tale of the dumb Westerner of a wrong religion and the Muslims. There was a fighter jet crash in Dubai, among everything else that was going on with Bednar. Fighter jet, you say? Dumb blondes are now ordered to be used in crash tests. Oh my god. Back in the 80s. Back to the 80s. That could be a good theme song, or at least I can at least listen to that. Back to the 80s. I have to move it to its new location in my filing system. So yeah, blonde jokes back in the 80s. How dumb blondes were. Earth girls are easy. Duck Magnum. So yeah, they're now ordering that female dummies be used in crash tests for cars. And I think late night comedy is over for the rest of the year. Isn't that the case now? Because you know, because Thanksgiving's next week, so I think that's it for the rest of the year. Anyway, they're all getting fired anyway. ABC. She is not a piggy, Trump. If she's a piggy, you've got very high expectations of women. She is not a piggy, unless you think piggies are very attractive. But my childhood peers talking about girls as piggies, they were not being flattering, and I never understood. She doesn't seem like a piggy to me. You know, obviously the standards were different back then, but I was being told, which do you like, blondes or brunettes? What? It depends. You know, a woman's mind and her heart. What? What's your type? Type? What the hell is a type? She likes me. She's my type. She's alive, legal, female, and she's interested in me. She's my type. That's it. That's the qualifications. I mean, yeah, there's a certain size factor, but my experience has broadened that even further than I had it back in grade school. As the other boys were talking about how she needs to be anorexic with fake implants. I just, what the hell? Not even Barbie is that deformed. And you got the feminazis claiming that Barbie is unrealistic body image types to girls. They need to be body shamed by us, feminazis. And then they finally got the Sports Illustrated. Unfit, unhealthy women on Sports Illustrated. Oh my God. Sports Illustrated. And it's now all obese because of the feminazis who bullied them and they caved. Oh dear God. Psychologists, all from psychologists, thinking they're American liberators from World War II Nazi Germany. Zion. That's why the church hates women. And that's why everybody's running away or putting a thumbs down on the cute little baby girl. Is because you don't see what I see. That's the whole point of why they did what they did. They got Sister Freeman. Oh, this is the most wonderful thing. Girls are now equal. You mean they weren't equal before? What does Matthew chapter 7, starting in verse 15, say about a corrupt seed? You can't change from within. It can't turn good magically. It is always corrupt. And yet the church keeps pulling that line on you. We're no longer racist since 1978. Church is now true. Oh, we finally put Amazing Grace in our hymns. Now we're no longer racist. Wait, what? You still have the Genesis segregated ward in Salt Lake City. You're still racist. You are always racist. You can't change. It can't be done. You can't put new wine in old wineskins. That's from the New Testament, in case you didn't know. So, I told you last year, I told my government last year, if you let Trump in, he's going to hold public executions of all his enemies. Nobody believed. Everybody ignored me. And here it is. Little Miss Piggy. And he wants to shut down ABC News? Wasn't there a late night comedian from ABC who got fired and then rehired? Or is he the Stephen Colbert who's fired at the end of the season next year. I don't know. I don't care. But one of them was from ABC. I think it was Stephen Colbert. He's the ABC guy. So yeah, Trump keeps flip-flopping on you. You're not getting it. You've never read his Art of the Deal, or you forgot that you reported on it. You know exactly what Trump is doing, and you forgot. Convenient, isn't it? And so, likewise, Trump is name-calling Democrats and his whole long list of things, but specifically Democrats. They're now called terrorist Antifa. So when they did a video telling military officers to do not obey illegal, unconstitutional orders, Trump called them seditious and called for the death penalty. Ta-da! And so, yes, of course he's backing down. I never said that. I take pictures with lots of seditious, treasonous terrorists. Antifa. Talk to my lawyer. It's his same pattern. Test runs. Delaying the inevitable. You have till next year, Trump. Because if you let them have their election, you know it's going to be a sweep. You know you're already a lame duck. But it's over the Epstein files. It has nothing to do with the video in and of itself. He's using that as an excuse. He was pissed about the Epstein files. He was pissed that you opened up the government and returned food to the poor. He's pissed. The church ordered him to do things, and you're delaying it. He doesn't have much time to live. The church, being pissed, now put a timer until he dies, and he needs to do what they told him to do. They may have promised him an antidote, but I told you it's coming. Do not think that he's just joking. You have witnessed he's not joking. He does what he does because he wrote about it. He's following his own playbook. Why am I the only one that knows this? And, well, Michael Cohen knew it. He tried to warn Congress. They aren't listening either. And so, yeah, Fox News. He's using you guys. He's threatened you before because of your lack of loyalty. Don't think that he's going to let you go just because you praise him. And that you can control him by telling him what to do. Ooh, those Chicagoans, they're being anti-Trump. Oh, okay, yeah, I'll send an ice to Chicago. Oh, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints says, no, I can't do it. Oh, Travis says that it was the church that's telling me to do it, so I'm going back in. Trump! Stop it! Stop it! What happened to the good old days about the oranges of the investigation after you read my website? Come on, Trump. So, the Waters guy on Fox called Trump a dictator. He thought he was being funny. A communist and a dictator go into a bar. Trump doesn't drink, first of all. The perfect Mormon. And there are plenty of missionaries who said, yeah, I gave Trump a Book of Mormon. It was back before he was president, so that's why he went to the church's welfare square, pushed a shopping cart for the first time in his life, and then said, hey, that's a great idea, IDs to buy groceries. And you didn't see what's happening this year, did you? You didn't see the IDs coming for grocery shopping. You guys are not seeing the big picture. So, yeah, there are hate symbolisms, imagery that gets classified as hate symbols. And the Danites are all involved in it. And I just cringed when KSL, with a psychologist, saying, I teach my kids secret handshakes. Secret hand signals, secret code words. Have you never even read your Book of Mormon? Did you not get to Helaman chapter 6? Did you not even go to the temple? Oh, that's where you got it from. And then to finish us off, Miss America or Miss Universe scandal again. You know, the Miss Mexico was caught being bullied, and she stood up to the bullies of the leaders of the pageant. They were bullying her, abusing her. She stood up to them. It went national, worldwide, technically. And so they caved and gave her the crown. What used to be Trump's operation for little girls for Jeffrey Epstein is now turned into a trans-Antifa communist terrorist organization of furries. Again, you can't change from within. Once it's corrupt, it's always corrupt. You have to tear it all down and start all new, and that's the church's whole plot. They have judged the world as wicked and unworthy, and so they are tearing you all down to burn you to the ground, and then to start over in Utah with the Church of Lucifer Christ of Latter-day Millennial Saints, with concentration camps, raping of little girls, and polygamy. Church is so true, huh?